have to look at the monitor up at the desk. And to the monitor on my desk. I'm kind of sharing it with Kevin. I don't know. It's my iPad and Kevin's more in the picture, but that's okay. We appreciate it. So I'd like to open up county facilities for January 20th. If you all don't mind, I'd like to take a moment of reflection upon today and on whatever, which way you would like to handle everything that would go down. I'm just hoping for, for peace across the nation and that we just get through this quickly and easily and without all the violence. So if we could just take a quick moment, you can handle it by shuffling your paperwork, take a quick nap, or just say a quick prayer. I'd just like to open it that way. So. All right. Okay. So I will open up the committee meeting and call county facilities to order. Can I have an approval for the minutes for our prior committee meetings?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you.
Who was on the committee last? All right.
I was.
So Dan was.
Yeah, I was not.
I wasn't.
Oh, I mean, I was, can I
Yes.
second it?
Yes, you can.
Okay, then I'll second it. So do I'll call a vote. Do we, all approved? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, it's so moved. Any, oh, yes.
I just want to get this out of the way.
Oh, this is Mary, our attorney.
So, according to Robert's rules, the committee chair is not supposed to vote for a fourth motion or a second motion. I understand the circumstance here, not enough people were on the.
I can't hear.
Oh, John can't hear you.
I understand that's why they're doing it. But just moving forward, committee chairs are not supposed to vote. The only time that they would vote is if there's a tie and your vote would break the tie in the affirmative, not if it would make the motion fail. So that's the only time a committee chair is supposed to vote.
Thank you, attorney, for saying. All right, so I cannot vote. So I guess.
I'll second it. I don't have to, I wasn't on the committee.
Yes.
Thank you. I will second it then.
You don't have to be on the committee to approve minutes. Everybody has seen the video, at least of the committee meetings. So if it's an accurate reflection of the video, then anybody can vote for it.
Did everybody hear that?
Well, yeah. Well, no, I didn't hear it, but in the past, chairpersons have brought forward motions and put them on the floor for a second. But if I wasn't there and I didn't so I can't confirm the minutes.
Well, what Ryan said is that you don't have to be on the committee. And if you've watched any of the past videos of the meetings, that you'd be able to vote. We have.
Yeah, well, I didn't do that either.
No, neither did I.
Pretty
The
heavy.
minutes don't have to be approved for this meeting, so if it's an issue, what I would suggest is don't approve them right now. I will send out the minutes and the link to the video to all committee members. They can review everything, and at the next meeting, we'll approve all of the minutes of the prior meeting.
Did everybody hear
You don't have to be
that?
a committee meeting member last year to have approved them. You just have to have reviewed them. So we'll just postpone it till next month.
Yeah, I can do that. Yeah, that'll work.
Is that acceptable for everybody?
Yes.
Okay, so moved, and that's what we'll do. So we'll jump right on to the next thing for number 3 for action of our agenda on new business items. And we're going to start with the airport agenda with Don McGraw and Kevin Hadros. So Don, are you with us?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Would you like to start?
Good morning, can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
All right, well, good morning, everybody. I'll start off with our first resolution request. It is apply for a grant, FAA grant, construction for taxiway lighting rehabilitation. As you may recall, we approved the design grant last year, and they're about 90% with the design, ready to put it out to bid. And this is the grant applying for the construction funds, hopefully for this summer or next spring.
I'll make that motion, John Stroud.
I'll second it, Mike Wyatt.
So we have a motion and a second on the floor. Is there any comment from anybody? I'll call the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Disapproved? So moved. Okay, and number two, I'll open it up a little. I think what everybody sees, it's kind of an interesting line there, but unfortunately, our airport manager is taking an opportunity to go back to well, actually to finish out his dream in happy life down in the warmer climates, and it is put in his notice, so we have to fulfill that. So I don't know if that would be Don or Kevin who would like to speak in number two.
I will speak to it. Yes, as Brad said, unfortunately for the county, Don is moving on. Don let me know last week that a opportunity did come along for him to go back down to Florida. Don will be greatly missed. In the short time that he's been back, he's done just a phenomenal job at the airport. I can't say enough about him. As I told a couple others, Don and I have built a very good friendship, and I'm very sad to see him go. With that being said, we would like to backfill that position. What I will do is, and Don, jump in when you can. I'd like to get his job advertised as quickly as possible. We would typically do it around here, but Don, correct me, is it like AAA or something like that, which is an airport, and a national airport magazine that would have the ability to put this job description out over the United States?
Yeah, what I recommend is we put it out on the AAAE job website, which will get instant access to all the airport managers across the country. And if we put it out for, a relatively short period of time, a week to 10 days, I would have time to vet what comes in and make a recommendation. So I think that's the best way to go. I'd also like to say, I'd like to thank everybody for the privilege and opportunity to serve you. And I appreciate all the support the board has provided me and Kevin. It's been a great 2.5 years. And I was hoping to stay a little longer, but the opportunity came up and I didn't want to pass it up down there. So I'm going to be here to support you as needed through the end of my term and after as needed. So, but I'd just like to thank everybody.
I will add that I did have a nice talk with Don on Saturday, really just to congratulate him. It was more of a sorrow and anger for him leaving me, but we really can't hold him back. And Don, really, I know the board, I'll speak hopefully for all the board, but you really have done a great job for our airport. So I will call. We have Mr. Moore that would like to speak.
I just would like to say, Don started at the airport about the same time I started as county administrator. I think he's been one of our very best hires at the county, and I've enjoyed working with you a lot, Don. I wish you all success and all happiness in the future.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. It means a lot.
So I will call the question. Well, actually, let's bring a motion to the floor.
Mr. Chairman, Mike
Notice
Wyatt,
of intent to fulfill.
I'll make that motion, and I'd
By
also
the
like
wild,
to
do I have a second?
Second. I'll second it.
And Supervisor Bruno, thank you very much. So I'll call the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Approved. So moved. Okay, we have item for discussion items is the solar lease, the RFP proposal evaluation review. So you were
I'll start it off and I'll let John
All
or
right.
Don jump in. So on the back page, there is basically an evaluation of the proposals that came in for the solar lease. And just to touch again upon the work that Don has done at the airport. Don, worked with a consultant to figure out areas around the airport that we could do something similar to this, whether it would be put up a business around the airport or use the grounds around the airport for something else to generate more revenue at the airport. I think most of you know, probably about 3 or 4 years ago, we were probably about 500,000, give or take, in the red every year. Since Don's been on board and with these proposals that we've received, this would probably bring us down to maybe $25,000 in the red. That's a significant improvement over the last 2.5 years. So back to the solar lease, we put it out, the proposal out. We received 8 companies that submitted for the proposal. Nexamp, you'll see there's a number 9 on there. Nexamp submitted for a 25 and a 20 year. As you go down through this, the proposals were rated based on what the RFP said, which I believe it was 80% was the funding or the revenue, 10% was environmental, and 10% was their qualifications. So Don and I have taken the liberty between both of us just to rate them based on those percentages alone. I talked to Chairman McGowan and suggested that now we should look at possibly doing a negotiating team or committee to move forward with choosing what we may feel is the best fit for our airport. You'll see that Nexamp in the table, that Nexamp and Ameroska are the 2 highest proposals that came in, but Nexamp had put in a price for both areas, Area 1 and Area 2. Ameroska only put in for one area. The one area that Ameroska put in for was 30.6 acres as opposed to Nexamp only putting in for 22 acres. So there's a couple different ways to go about this. We could go about just awarding it to Nexamp and then possibly negotiating higher or awarding a portion of it maybe to Nexamp and the other portion to Ameroska. And you'll see that I put that down at the bottom of the table that if you did do it for both of them, the revenue that would be generated would be approximately $222,000 a year, or almost $223,000. So again, I think the next step for us would be have a negotiating committee. And I spoke with Brad about that. And I think he was going to offer that up for individuals to be part of that committee.
Don, do you have anything to add?
No, that's a fairly accurate overview of where we're at. I think we're at the point where we need to get our committee together and then reach out to the top contenders here and come up with a recommendation back to committee. So we've got some, we were all thinking that the numbers might come in a little bit lower, but these numbers look very, very good. So I'm very excited about the numbers and very excited about the potential revenue for the next 25 years and beyond for the airport.
Well, really appreciate you bringing this to the floor, before, and I'm happy for the opportunity that we can utilize some of our land and help out bringing the cost of our airport down. So I guess my next discussion item, I'd like to bring out, who would like to be on the committee. I'll give that option first of asking who would like to join before I appoint.
Chairman McGowan, I would like to be on that committee. John Stroud.
Okay.
Mike Wild also. And Mr. Chairman, I have some questions because there was a big disparity in the numbers that were presented here in terms of the annual revenue, and do we know what the differences is? You know, it's double, if not more, in some instances.
I think from my, and I'll let Don jump in too, but some of it is acreage. If you look at some of the acreage that some of them are using, some of them are smaller companies. Nexamp is one of your larger companies out there. So I think that may be why they may be significantly higher. But a lot of them are smaller companies. They're not large size companies, and I'm not sure that they can, you know, I believe a company like Nexamp, and I don't want to speak for Nexamp, they can afford having a system like this. I don't think some of the other smaller companies are able to do that.
So of course the devil's in the details. So I very much participate with that, Brett.
All right, so far on the team, it would be myself, Kevin, John Stroud, Mike Wild, Dan Bruno. I don't know how many you feel that we need. Kevin, how many do you feel that we need on the committee, or I can ask our chairperson or Ryan? Ryan, is there a comfortable number we should shoot for? Mr. Moore, Amanda?
I just wanted to point out, you need to avoid a quorum of a committee in your task force. That would be
Oh,
considered an
good
illegal
thinking.
meeting. So you have 5 members, you have to have less than 3 of your committee members on this negotiation.
Oh, well,
I just want to add, when we did the negotiation for the airport, for the FBO, we had 3 supervisors on it, and then it was Don and I as part of the negotiation. And Don and I were there just for backup to provide information.
I would just point out, though, too, to add that at that time you had a larger committee, so there wasn't a quorum issue there.
okay, so I guess so now it's down to Brad, Kevin, Don, John, Mike, and Dan. All right, I will let's work on this, and I'll talk to the people that have volunteered, and we'll see the best way to go, and I'll let everybody know what that team will be, if that's all right. Okay, so let me get back to where I was. So do we have any more discussion items today? Okay, we have referrals and pending items, the solar power site. The FAA approved 2 parcels for the solar site. Kevin, do we want to
I think we can remove this referral.
remove that referral? Okay, well, we're removing number 5. We have privilege of the floor. Well, let's go back to the solar lease. It being a discussion item, we don't need a vote on any of that, do we?
No, sorry, but we would actually change the referral item to speak to the negotiating team that's being used. It would still be carried, but just differently. We would change it from what it is now to just say that you're working on developing a negotiating team for the solar power.
Is that what we have to vote on?
You don't have to vote on anything. I'm just telling you how it'll show up on the next thing.
All right,
Nothing you need to do.
okay. And we don't have to do anything by taking off referrals, so we don't have to vote on that either.
Yep.
Okay. So now can I go to the privilege of the floor? Privilege of the floor. Anybody would like to add anything? Don?
Hello, Chairman McGowan. We have no comment on YouTube right now.
All right. Well, thank you, Don, and for keeping us abreast on that. So I will now I think we'll move on to the buildings and grounds agenda. We have 5 agenda items. So let's I'll let Kevin take over number 1. That's all right.
Yeah, I'd actually like to group 1 and 2 together if I could. So 1 and 2 are notice of intent to fill vacant positions. These are backfill the maintenance mechanic positions. 1 is carried under the buildings and grounds budget, and the other one's carried under the HSB budget, and both of them are due to retirement.
Well, I'll put it out there. Does anybody have a problem of joining 1 and 2 together?
I don't.
Okay, so even though they're, one's building and grounds and one's HSB, that's all right? Kevin, you're comfortable with it?
Yeah, there's still separate resolutions. I'm just saying if they wanted to combine them together. I've explained both of them. There's still 2 separate resolutions.
Okay, all right. So,
Chairman McGowan,
yes,
I'll make a motion to bring 1 and 2 together on the floor.
you, pardon?
I'll make a motion to combine 1 and 2.
Okay, I'll call, we have a motion on the floor. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, Supervisor Shepler, seconded. Let's, we'll, call a vote. All approved?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, any disapproved? So move. Okay, Kevin, take it away.
Next one is number 3, is to create a new position within the Buildings Grounds Department. As you know, when it rains, I guess it pours. So I'm losing Don, and I'm also losing Frank Morehouse. I believe after 27 years, Frank, you're on the line if I mistakenly said that, but I believe it's 27 years. Frank's retiring. Frank's position was called the Superintendent of Buildings and Grounds, but that's the only kind of superintendent I have except my position. I spoke with Trish Nettinger about this in civil service, and to bring it more in line with some of the other municipalities and or school systems and such, I asked to change the position to a Director of Facilities - County. So that's to create the new position of Director of Facilities for the county, which would be basically Frank's job.
So I will ask for a motion to bring this to the floor.
So moved.
Supervisor Bruno.
I'll second. John Stroud.
Supervisor Stroud, thank you. Kevin and I talked about this, and after seeing the basically the job description of what's going to be involved in this, it really makes a lot of sense. I never really realized everything that's involved in the different parts. So a director seemed more fit since Frank's been here, and it's kind of in the same sense of with Brian LaFleur, is how his job description expanded over the years that he was here, and how he just took it on. So I will call for a vote to see if we can get approval for this new director's position. So I'm calling for a vote. And everybody in favor for creating this new position?
Aye.
Disapprove? All right, so moved. Number 4 there, Kevin?
So the next item on there is, since we created the position now, would be the notice of intent to fill that vacant position of the Director of Facilities.
I'll make a motion to bring it to the floor. Well, actually,
I'll make the motion to bring it to the floor. Chairman
thank you,
McGowan.
Mr. Stroudroy. So I'll call the vote. All in favor?
Oh, we need a second.
Need a second.
I'll second that.
Okay. I believe we had Mr. Strauss the first and Supervisor Wild as the second. So all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any disapprovals? Okay, so move. Okay, Kevin.
The last item I have on there, and I want to go back to, because I didn't necessarily say anything about Frank. Frank's put in 27 years in the county. Frank has done a tremendous job at that Buildings and Grounds Department. It's been his running that for the past, I don't know, 20 years, I think, Frank. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it was at least 20 years of running that department. And that department has gone through a lot of changes. I think they used to have 16 people there, and now they're down to I believe 9 that are working there. I can't say enough about losing somebody who has 27 years of experience. It's that institutional knowledge that you lose, and you never gain it. And you know, Frank's taught me a lot of things and showed me a lot of things, but there's still never the knowledge that I'll have of the buildings that he has. So it is a significant loss for the county losing him as well. And Frank, I just want to say thank you for everything that you've done. The last position on here that I want to create is a title position called Superintendent of Buildings and Grounds, part-time temporary. Frank has, and it wasn't reluctantly either, has agreed to stay on until we fill the position of the Director of Facilities and to assist the new person when they come in to get them up and running. So this would be a rate of which is the rate that Frank's paid now, and not to exceed 20 hours a week, and just a part-time temporary position until our new facilities director is in the position.
I believe we're doing this with Brian LaFleur, you know, and it's kind of bringing in, you know, after being throughout this whole building and seeing so much, and I will create, you know, Frank, I really appreciate all you've done. You've got a great team. You know, I've worked with them with some of the little projects that we've had around here, especially during the pandemic, and I've gained a lot of respect for you and your employees. You've done a great job with them. They have a great attitude, and I really appreciate you know, all of what they do here for our county buildings. So, Frank, I really appreciate it, and I'm happy to hear that you want to stay on and you know, help us out in a transitional period. So I do appreciate that. So I will see if we can't bring this to the floor.
I'll make that motion.
I have Supervisor Wild bring it to the floor, and Supervisor Sepler seconding it. So I'll call the vote. All in favor? Creating.
I have a question.
Oh, sorry. Yes, Supervisor Bruno.
Is there a time limit, a duration limit on this temporary position by any chance?
I think that'll be dependent upon when we fill it, but I think Frank has some plans come May. He said he'd probably only be able to do till then anyway. So if we want to say May 1st, if everyone is comfortable with that, then I would go with that.
That's fine. I know it's hard to gauge that right now, but I just, you know, thought maybe we should put some kind of time limit on it, if possible. Thank you.
No, thank you, Supervisor Bruno. Is everybody comfortable with adding that to this resolution to a May 1st of 2021 date?
Yes.
Yes. Amanda, do we need to amend our motion, or?
We haven't voted yet, so you can amend the motion.
All right, so I'll amend that motion to creating this new position to as a part-time position until May 1st of 2021. Someone want to bring that to the floor?
We have a motion by Mr. Ryle and Ms. Shepherd.
Oh, all right. I wasn't sure we had to read. Okay, so I'll call a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Disapprove? So move. Okay, discussion items, the FEMA reimbursement update. That's some good news for us, Kevin.
I do. So as you all, I think, are aware, or if you're not, DPW took on the task of doing the FEMA reimbursements for any of the COVID related, whether it be for PBE, for congregate housing, for the overtime, maybe for the sheriff. Right now, we've done our first submittal to FEMA. They've, on the FEMA side, federal side, has approved it. It still has to go through the state for their approval, but we've done our first submittal, which is about $47,000. I believe we'll receive right now, at least from the federal, 75% of that. I'm not sure what the state's doing as of yet. So that is in. Our next submittal will I believe that we're working on now is the overtime for the sheriff, which is upwards of $100,000. And then the congregate housing, which we're still working on that one a little bit. FEMA is unsure how or what they're qualifying for that. So we're still working with them on that one. So that's the update on the FEMA reimbursement for the COVID.
Thank you, Kevin, and thank you for taking on such a large responsibility for our county, and that's just another thing on your plate. So appreciate all the work. Okay, and how are we doing on the court?
Court update for phases 3A, B, and C, which includes Judge Offerdue's area, the court clerk's area, and the DA's office. Was supposed to start towards the end of last year, but because of the pandemic, the ability for us to get windows, which was the first step in this process, they were delayed by anywhere from 6 to 8 weeks. So as of next week, the contract will be in here. We're making sure that the clerk and Judge Offerdue's office is set up in a temporary space for now, and they will start next week in the process. If you've seen that there's asbestos signs hung up around, they will have enclosures, but the first process is that there is some asbestos material in the windows, and that'll be the first thing that they remove. So that should start based on schedule right now next week.
Thank you. Does anybody have any comment on these discussion items? Yes.
In regards to the court update, do you have an anticipated date of completion?
I want to say probably sometime midsummer with all items, maybe more towards September. Things got pushed off a little bit. We expected to be done probably by the beginning of summer, but we're looking towards mid to latter summer, maybe more towards September.
I know that's kind of, it's a long process, but it makes it a lot harder right now, Susan, being in the trades that I am in. It's really, it all depends on what you can get, how you can get it, how quick you can get here, and with all the shutdowns and everything else that goes on. So really, hopefully this will move on as quickly as possible. Kevin?
One of the things I wanted to add is Supervisor Scheffler, is there's a lot of coordination with Judge Offerdue's office, county clerk. We have to move one over into a temporary space, then eventually move them back after the contractors get done, then take the time off for another week or so to move somebody else over. And so there's a lot of coordination between, and when we get to the DA's area, that's going to be a significant amount of coordination. But I think with the buildings and ground staff that we have, and hopefully backfilling all the positions, they've done a phenomenal job of moving people around. So they're going to get all that stuff well ahead of time before the contractor, so they're not in the way of the contract.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, if we don't have any more on the discussion items, let's go to referrals and pending items. We have the discussion to continue about regarding the change to the concrete area out front. Kevin?
There's not much to update on this. As I've said all along, once this next phase of the court project is done, then we'll work on doing something to that front entrance to the county center. But that's, again, it'll be after these next phases of court are done.
Okay, appreciate that. Actually, on the, I've been trying to work on it, and everything's been going on and trying to get people together of working on the old jail moving forward. So now that I'm chairperson here, also I will probably get back on. I have people that are interested in moving forward, and we really need to discuss that. So I will be pushing and keeping that on our agenda, and hopefully I'll have something going by our next meeting here. And referral from the Economic Growth and Development Higher Education Committee to consider approving an energy audit. Kevin, I know we kind of talked about that as getting an energy audit, and right now I hate to spend more money than we have to, but then on the other hand too, I really don't want the people on the other side of the room, but actually a lot of our employees. But but you and I have discussed maybe pulling off some of these covers and looking down below. I have gone around and have felt some windows myself, not with a meter. But I think there's ways that we might be able to get a little bit more warmth if we can work on hooking up with the.
Chairman,
Yes.
it's Frank Morehouse. I just wanted to let you know, we're in the old probation area. We're experimenting a little bit with insulating the bottom half of the windows. I think the big issue there is the marble sills go all the way to the outside of the building. So it's just a cold sink sucking cold air into the rooms. So we're starting in there, basically just insulating and covering the sills so that the cold doesn't transfer as much. So, we can let you know down the road how that works out. I believe the windows were audited in the original geothermal audit that we did here, and it was determined that it was not cost effective to change them. But that was 15 years ago, I guess.
Well, I know we did change. Thank you, Frank, for bringing that in, because, you're absolutely right. I do believe a lot of the cold, when you feel it, is on that granite. And, it's been known that granite and marbles are usually 5 degrees cooler than the ambient temperature around there. But when you go to feel it and you put your hands behind our gorgeous blinds that we have here, as our chairwoman turns around and looks at them, they are pretty sad looking. But I don't really feel the cold through the glass as much as you feel it right on top of the stone. So I'd be more than happy to work with you and we can review. You could probably show me what's going on over there. So I have a better understanding too with Kevin. So thank you very much, Frank, on that. So privilege of the floor. Is there anybody have any questions on the floor here? All right, I see.
Chairman McGowan.
Who?
It's Frank Morehouse again. Sorry to jump in, but I just want to thank everyone, for the opportunity to work here for so long. I have a wife that retired 3 years ago, and that's probably the biggest push behind my move. But it's been a great job with some great people.
Well, thank you, Frank. We do have some intent to, fill some positions. Is this something maybe we could bring your wife in so you guys can be closer and you can stay on longer?
Maybe if there's travel involved, she might be tempted.
I don't blame you. And
Travel to where? Stony Creek?
Yeah, until COVID lifts, it's going to be downtown North Creek, I think.
Well, no, we wish you all the best of luck, and we'll talk more about that because we still do have you for a while longer. So if no more privilege on the floor, Don Lehman, do we have any comments on our Zoom?
Nothing at this point, Chairman McGowan.
Thank you again, Don. So if there's nothing else to discuss, I'd like to, I believe this will end my agenda for today. So I will call for a vote for adjournment.
So moved.
Supervisor Stroud. Supervisor Shepler, thank you very much. All have a great day.
Thank you.